So my name is Mark Goulthorpe. I've been at MIT for about 10 years. I'm an architect, writer, educator, I guess that's the three, a researcher too. So as a practicing architect, I tend to execute quite progressive works, so new formal material fabrication logics. I've been particularly interested by the effect of computation and increasingly new material sciences on how architecture is done. As a writer, I write theoretical texts, typically. A couple of books, but mostly essays. And I'm a great believer that abstract thinking is really the most critical part of innovation, rather than the kind of techno-rational trope of wanting to innovate. I think it's, I'm a more philosophically oriented in my design approach than some, and I think if there's any innovation that comes out of the work, it's usually the result of a quite abstract thought process. So thinking leads for me. And as an educator, typically I teach design studio in the graduate school, so option studios. And design studios are the central sort of half of the curriculum of architectural students. And they're all encompassing sort of immersive, creative projects where it's usually graphic and plastic media, verbal too, a little bit of writing, but mainly it's sort of graphic media. I also teach seminars, so usually design theory seminars. So I teach the special master's seminar on design theory and methodology. And my usual focus is the terms design and technology, which are ubiquitous and used by everyone. But I sort of interrogate the history and becoming of the terms, design. What do we mean by design? Where does it come from? Is it changing in the present? Is it changing because of what? And technology, which is an age-old term, but I think is improperly thought. And so I ask for sort of precision in that. I teach a colloquium for our postgraduate students each year, which I think is one of the rare, genuinely interdisciplinary offerings at MIT, where I organize it thematically, invite in scientists, cultural practitioners, cultural theorists, historians to talk about a theme. So they all address the same theme from different areas. And it's fascinating to witness the sort of broad spectrum of thinking around something. So last year it was waste and failure, which was approached technically by some, culturally by others. This year was the changing status of light, light being the kind of founding metaphor of certainly Western thinking. And again, to see how light is addressed by scientists and cultural theorists has been interesting. And the hope of that course is it becomes really an online resource for international scholarship, where a particular emerging theme or prescient theme is addressed from many angles as in this unique kind of forum, MIT. My interest is in new material processing, meaning how do you instantiate material from mental design process into reality. And that takes many forms. I mean, it's for instance, one might imagine designing with force instead of with geometry, because we have calculating machines that can calculate material property real time. Perhaps that's not the dominant trope, but it's imminent. So you run speculative workshops on designing with force. The rise of 3D print technologies kind of gives birth to the imagination of kind of instantiating material directly. So from imagination into fact, of variable property materials being sort of deposited in space like a sublimating gas, if you will. So there's a constant interest through workshops and things that I try to tease out those new potentials.